Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting tutorial. In this video, we'll be building the UI for an admin dashboard using Flutter. The layout is fully responsive and adapts seamlessly to desktops, tablets, and mobile devices. It includes a drawer icon that's accessible in both tablet and mobile views. Plus, there's a drop-down menu in the top bar that reveals two options, Profile and Logout. Let's get started. First, select New Flutter Project. Now, enter a name for your project. Remember to use only lowercase letters. And if your project name contains multiple words, separate them with an underscore. Clear the default code and keep the useful part only. Create new folder and in that a file main screen . Next, import the material package using this line of code. The material package provides a wide range of pre-built widgets and design elements that follow Google's material design guidelines, making it easy to build beautiful and consistent UIs in Flutter. And import the file here. Now select the device from here and press the green icon to run the code. As you may have noticed, I didn't type the entire import line or widget code manually. In the import statement, I just typed IMP and Android Studio suggested the word import. Then, I typed MAT, which automatically brought up the full line to import the material package. After that, I used the STL shortcut, and with a quick press of Enter, Android Studio generated the boilerplate code for a stateless widget. These kinds of shortcuts are super handy and can really speed up your workflow, so make sure to use them whenever possible. This line is used to remove the debug banner from the top right corner of the app. By default, Flutter displays a debug label when running the app in debug mode to indicate that it's not a production build. Setting this property to false hides that banner, giving your app a cleaner look during development or demos. The scaffold widget provides the basic structure for your app's layout. For the body, we'll use the Safe Area widget to ensure our content stays within the visible screen space. Inside the Safe Area, we'll use a row widget to arrange elements horizontally. Inside the row, we'll set the cross-axis alignment to cross-axis alignment.start. This ensures that the children of the row are aligned to the start of the cross-axis, which is typically the top in a horizontal row. Next, let's create a new folder called Components. Inside the Components folder, create a new file named sidemenu.dart. This will help keep our code organized and modular. We import the material package again, just like before. Type IMP and then MAT to bring up the full import statement for the material package. After that, use the STL shortcut to quickly generate a stateless widget class. We'll name this class SideMenu. Inside the SideMenu widget, we'll return a drawer. As its child, we'll use a container and set its color property to define the background color of the drawer. Now let's call the side menu widget inside the main screen. We'll add it to the children of our row, so it appears as part of the horizontal layout. Now, press the yellow lightning icon. This triggers hot reload, which instantly applies the new changes to your app without restarting it. It's a powerful feature in Flutter that speeds up development. Now, inside the side menu widget, let's pass a child to the container. We'll use a single child scroll view to make the content scrollable. Inside it, we'll place a column, and within the column, we'll add our widgets using the children property. This is the assets folder that we've created, and the download link for the assets is available in the description box. Before using any images in a Flutter project, you need to configure the pubspec.yaml file. First, uncomment the assets section using Ctrl+. Make sure the indentation is correct, and then add the path to your images like this. After that, click on pubget to fetch the necessary dependencies. Now, let's use the drawer header widget to create the top section of our side menu. Inside its child, we'll use image asset to display an image. Simply copy the image path from the assets folder and paste it here like this and paste it here. To keep our code clean and properly formatted, we can refactor it using a shortcut. Just right-click anywhere in the code editor and select Reformat Code or press the designated shortcut key. This automatically organizes your code with proper indentation and spacing. Now press the hot reload icon to apply the changes. Now, let's create a new component called Draw List Style. This will help us reuse the List Style widget inside the Draw menu. Inside the Draw List Style widget, we'll define a few properties, a final string title, and SVG as a C to hold the icon path, and a final void callback press to handle tap actions. Now, let's add these properties to the constructor of our Draw List Style class. This allows us to pass the title, icon path, and tap function when we create an instance of this widget. Now, let's remove the placeholder and replace it with the List Style widget. This will allow us to display the title and icon inside the drawer in a neat, clickable list item format. Set on tab to press to handle tabs, adjust spacing with horizontal title gap 0.5, and use svgpicture.asset as the leading icon. To use SVG picture, we need to add the Flutter SVG package to our pubspec.yaml file. This package allows us to display SVG images in Flutter. Now import the package where it is used. We pass SVG as a C to load the icon, apply a color filter to set its color, and set the height to 18 for consistent sizing. For the title, we use a text widget, pass the title string, and apply a white text style using text style. Now call the draw list style in the side menu file. Now, let's use the draw list style widget by passing the appropriate title and SVG as our C values. And for now, we leave the press field empty by assigning it to an empty function like this. Here comes our first style. Just repeat the code and change the title and image path. Create a new file, dashboard screen. This screen returns a scaffold and background color is set. Next, we use an expanded widget inside it. We place a container, set its background color to a dark shade, and pass dashboard screen as its child. The flex 5 property means this section will take up 5 parts of the total available horizontal space in the row. In simple terms, it gives this expanded widget more space compared to other widgets with smaller flex values, helping us control layout proportions. In the body, we first pass a safe area to ensure our content stays within the visible screen space. Inside it, we use a single child scroll view to make the content scrollable. We also add padding of 15 on all sides using edge insets.all15. Then, we pass a column as the child to arrange all the elements vertically. Now, let's create a new file named header.dart. Inside the header widget, we start with a row. The first child is an icon button with a menu icon. For now, the onPressed function is left empty. This can later be used to open the side menu on smaller screens. Now, in the dashboard screen, we call the header widget at the top of the column to display our custom header section. Next, we add a text widget to display the title dashboard. We style it using text style to make the font bold, set the size to 26, and apply a white color for better visibility against the dark background. To create some space between elements, we use a spacer with a flex value of 2. Next, we use an expanded widget to take up available space. Inside the expanded, we pass the search field widget as its child. Now let's create search field file. Inside the search field widget, we return a text field to allow the user to input search text. We style the text input color to white using text style. And the input decoration, we set the hint text to search and change its color to a light gray, colors.white70. The background color of the text field is set to a dark shade. We also add a white border around the field when it's not focused, and round the corners with border radius.circular 10 to give it a smooth look. For the focused border, we create a white border with a width of 2 when the text field is focused. The corners are rounded with border radius.circular 10 to match the style of the inactive border. For the suffix icon, we use an inkwell widget, which allows us to make the icon tappable. Inside it, we have a container with padding of 12 and horizontal margin of 8 to give it some spacing. We set the background color of the container to light blue and round the corners with border radius.circular 10. Finally, inside the container, we place an SVG icon using svgpicture.asset to display the search icon. Copy the path of the icon you want to use and paste it here. Create new file profile.dart. Set the name profile card. we return a container with a left margin of 16 to give it spacing from the edge. Padding is set horizontally to 16 and vertically to 8 to add space inside the container. The background color is set to a dark shade. We also round all corners with border radius .circular 10 and add a white border around the container using border .all to set color white. Now call the profile card widget here. Inside the container, we use a row to arrange items horizontally. The first child is an image loaded using image.asset, which displays the avatar from the assets folder. We've set its height to 38 for a compact look. Next, we add a padding widget to give some horizontal space around the text. Inside it, we display the user's name, Rahul Roy, using a text widget, and style it with white color for better visibility on the dark background. After that, we'll add a pop-up menu button for profile actions like logout or settings. Now, we've added a pop-up menu button. Inside the menu, we've created two options, one for profile and another for logout. Each item is displayed with white text for better visibility. Right now, the onSelected function is empty, but this is where you can add actions like navigating to a profile screen or logging the user out based on which option is selected. We set the icon to a downward arrow using icons.keyboard arrow down and give it a white color so it stands out on the dark background. Then, we set the drop-down menu's background color to black using the color property to keep everything consistent with the dark theme. Inside the dashboard file, we add a size box with a height of 16 to create some vertical space. Next, we use a row and set cross-axis alignment to start so that all child widgets align at the top. Inside this row, we use an expanded widget with a flex value of 5, which means it will take up more horizontal space compared to other widgets in the row. Then, we place a column inside it to arrange child widgets vertically. Create a new file called myfields. Final underscore size equals media query dot of context dot size. This line of code in Flutter is used to get the size of the screen or the current device's viewport. By calling media query dot of context, we can access information about the device's screen, such as its width and height. The dot size property specifically returns the dimensions of the screen as a size object, which can be used to make responsive UI decisions, like adjusting widget sizes based on the screen's width and height. Main axis alignment dot space between is a property in Flutter that aligns the children of a row or column widget placing equal space between them. It ensures that the first child is at the start of the main axis, the last child is at the end, and all other children are evenly spaced between them. This code defines a class called recent file, which holds information about different files, including an icon, title, date, and size. Each of these properties can be nullable. The recent file class is then used to create a list of demo recent files, which contains multiple instances of recent file with different file types, such as XD, Figma, PDF, Excel, and more. Each file has its own icon, title, date, and file size in this demo list. Create a new file, recent files. Has a function called recent file data row, which takes a recent file object as input and returns a data row. Inside this data row, we have 3 cells. The first cell combines an SVG icon and the file title, both displayed in a row. The title is styled with bold text, size 18, and a custom color. The second cell displays the file's date in the same bold style and color. The third cell shows the file size, again with the same styling applied to maintain consistency. This function helps format file details in a structured, visually appealing way in a table layout. This line of code generates a list of rows using list.generate. It creates as many rows as there are items in the demo recent files list. For each file in the list, the function recent file data row is called, which formats the file information into a table row. This way, you dynamically generate a set of rows to display all the recent files in your table. Now, let's call the storage details widget in the dashboard by using the expanded widget. By setting the flex value to 2, we ensure that the storage details takes up more space in the layout, giving it more prominence compared to other elements within the same container. In the Storage Details widget, we return a container with padding around the edges. The container has a dark background color and rounded corners with a radius of 10. Inside this container, we use a column layout to align the children to the start. The first child in the column is a text widget that displays the title Storage Details, styled with a font size of 18, medium font weight, and white color to contrast with the background. Copy this package and paste it in the pub/spec YAML file. Sometimes the current version does not work, so decrease the version and then run. In this section, we return a sized box with a fixed height of 200. Inside the sized box, we use a stack widget, which allows us to layer widgets on top of each other. The first child in the stack is a pie chart created using pie chart data, which will display a circular chart. In this part, we define a list of pie chart section data, where each entry represents a section of the pie chart. Each section has a specific color, a value representing the percentage of the chart it occupies, and a radius of 25 for the size. The Show Title property is set to false for all sections, meaning no title will be displayed on the chart. Now, we position the pie chart using positioned.il, which ensures it fills the available space in the parent widget. On top of this chart, we place a column widget that is centered vertically using main axis alignment.center. The column contains two text widgets. The first displays 17.6, styled with a headline font, light color, and bold weight. Below it, the second text shows of 256 gigabytes to indicate the total storage, styled in white. Create a new file storage info card. Define four properties: title, SVGS, amount of files, and number files. The first three are strings, used to hold the title, the path to an SVG icon, and the amount of files as a label. The fourth one, num of files, is the actual number of files. Alright, now inside this section, we're returning a container. I've added a little top margin just to create some breathing space from the widget above. We're also giving it uniform padding all around to keep the content comfortably spaced. For styling, I've added a border. It's a soft light pinkish shade with a thickness of 2 pixels, and rounded the corners with a radius of 16 to give it that smooth, modern card-like feel. The child is a row because we want to place elements side by side. The first child in this row is a sized box. It's 20 by 20 in size, and inside that, we're loading our SVG icon using svgpicture.asset, passing in the svgs-rc. This keeps the icon compact and neatly aligned with the text that'll follow. Next up in the row, we're using an expanded widget, which makes sure this section takes up all the remaining space. Inside that, we've got a padding widget to give it some horizontal spacing, specifically 16 pixels on the left and right. Now within that padding, we place a column to stack the text vertically. The first text is the title, and I've added max lines, one with text overflow dot ellipsis. So if the title is too long, it'll just show an ellipsis instead of overflowing. It's styled with white color for good contrast against the dark background. Just below that, we're showing the number of files, for example, 12 files. This text uses the body medium style from the current theme, but I've overridden the color to a light white shade for consistency. And finally, outside the expanded section, we have one more text widget that shows the amount of files, like 1.3 gigabyte, again, styled in white to match the overall theme. Alright, so just after our chart, we're adding a few storage info card widgets to break down the storage categories. The first one is for documents files, paired with the appropriate document icon. Then we've got one for media files, which uses the media icon. Following that, we add a card for other files. This one shows up with a folder icon. And lastly, there's the unknown files card, marked with a generic unknown icon. These cards help present the storage data in a clean and categorized format, making the UI easy to read and understand. Create new file responsive ... I won't be writing the full code I have pasted here, so you can pause the video and copy the same. Now let's set the responsiveness of our dashboard for various devices. Create a new file info card. Now inside the container, we're setting some padding and giving it a black background with rounded corners for that modern card look. Inside the child, we've got a column that's using both cross-axis alignment .start and main axis alignment .space between, so everything inside spreads out evenly from top to bottom. The first thing in the column is a row, and we're aligning its children to opposite ends using main axis alignment .space between. On the left side of the row, we've got a smaller container. It's a 40 by 40 box with padding, filled with a semi-transparent background color pulled from info.color. This acts as the icon holder. Create a new file cloud storage info. Inside the cloud storage info class, we define several properties. First up, we've got svgsrc, title, and total storage. These are strings, and they represent the file path for the icon, the title of the storage type, and the total storage size respectively. Then, we have num of files and percentage, both integers, which track the number of files and the percentage of storage used. Lastly, color is a color type, which lets us customize the color scheme for each card, helping differentiate between the storage categories visually. We have a list called Demo My Files, which contains multiple cloud storage info objects. Each object represents a different cloud storage service with attributes like the title, example, documents, Google Drive, the number of files, storage size, a color for visual representation, and the percentage of storage used. This list is designed to hold dynamic data for various cloud storage services, allowing us to display information such as file counts, storage usage, and icons in a structured way within the app. Now at the top of our widget, in Cloud Storage Info file we declare a final variable called info of type Cloud Storage Info. This lets us pass in all the dynamic data like the title, icon path, color, file size, and number of files into each storage card. It keeps our widget clean, reusable, and organized. Now let's add some text and icon into it. Run this command in terminal to apply const keyword where required automatically and fix some error which might be there. As you all can see now, the yellow lines have disappeared and no warning is showing on the top right corner. Now to change the favicon of our Flutter web project, we simply go into the web folder, open the index.html file, and update the image path inside the link tag for the favicon. Just replace the existing path with the path of your new icon image. As you all can see, the favicon has now changed. Thanks for watching this video, and do like, share, and subscribe to our channel and share with your friends.